Good morning. Good morning. I am your empowerment coach, Queen Teresa Harris. If you are new to my channel, I am an empowerment coach, motivational speaker, and an author. You can find my book on Amazon. It is entitled Transformation to Destination. Coming to you this morning with just a few words of encouragement. And I'm going to tell you ahead of time, this word is not for everybody. But this word is for somebody, and that somebody is you. In my study time this morning, I'm reading in Romans, and I'm in the 8th chapter, and I began at the 28th verse. And I'm just going to turn my head this way because I'm going to read it to you, and then we're going to talk about it, and I'm going to give it to you the way God gave it to me. All right? Okay. Romans 8 and 28, and we beginning at the 28th verse, and it says, "And we know that all things work together for good to them who love God, to them who are called according to his purpose." That key word right there jumped out at me. His purpose. 29 says, "For whom he did foreknow, he also did predestine, to be conformed to the image of his son, that he might be the firstborn among many brethren." God says, I want you to love my son like I love my son. In verse 30, it says, "Moreover, whom he did predestinate, them he also called. And whom he called, them he also justified. And whom he justified, them he also glorified." And when I got to verse 31, I had to sit up straight in my chair. Verse 31 says, "What shall we then say to these things? If God be for us, who can be against us?" Now, when I saw that, I said, "Ooh, we God. Ooh, we God." You just answered everybody's question then. You just gave the answer to everybody's question. I want to leave with you today this one tidbit of encouragement. And I want you to tell yourself, use what you got. God's got a purpose for your life. Use what you got. When I was thinking about this thing and as God was ministering this to me, God reminded me of the story of Moses at the Red Sea. Now, y'all know that story. Moses had all these folk with him. Moses had all these folk depending on him. And Moses had to get these folks across that Red Sea. When he ran up on the Red Sea, whoosh, just water everywhere. And Moses told God, "How am I supposed to get these folk across this water? They're going to drown. I don't know what to do." God is telling somebody today, use what you got. I created you for purpose. I created you to glorify me. I want you to use what you got. God told Moses, "What's that in your hand? What's that in your hand? I need for you to use what you got." Moses pointed that staff, that stick, whichever way y'all understand it, to that water, and that water just separated. It just parted. See, Moses didn't use all these excavators and all these big this, that, and the others. Moses ain't have no whole lot of money to work with. Moses ain't did nothing but used what he had. You see, God has already equipped you. God has already equipped you for purpose. You got to use what you got, because using what's already down in you is what pleases God. God created you for purpose, and that purpose is to help somebody. You ought to stop that, "I can't do this. I ain't getting paid for that. I know how to do it, but shoot, they ain't paying me nothing." If you begin to use your gifts, watch God. Watch God supply. Watch God give you more than you asked for. See, one thing for sure, we got to stop waiting on validation. Okay, cuz what you mean by that? We got to stop waiting on validation. We have to stop waiting for permission to be great. God has already equipped you with everything you need. See, what I'm trying to say to you is, we sit down on our gifts. We sit down on our anointing, not realizing that God has a plan for the gifts that he has imparted in you. God has a plan for that. And that plan is to give you glory. I don't care if you know how to take some flour, some sugar, some butter, put it in a bowl, and start stirring it. Put some water in it and start stirring it. It wouldn't matter to me if you knew enough to put that oven on 350. Pour that batter, whatever that is, into your pan, put it in the oven. In about, I don't know because I don't know how to cook, but in about 30, 45 minutes, I bet you got a cake. Because you used what you got. You didn't have enough money to go to the store and buy no box of cake mix. You used what you had. All I'm saying to you is, you were created for purpose. Stop waiting on folk giving you permission to be great. Stop waiting on validation. Stop waiting on permission to do what God has already purposed you to do. See, your gift may not be my gift. My gift may not be your gift. But whatever the anointing is that God has placed on the inside of you, you got to use that gift. Stop asking folks for permission to be great. Now I had to think about the thing. God just told me, God just dropped in my spirit. He says, while you waiting on validation, you ain't hear me say, you was already great. You didn't hear me say, I validated you. You didn't hear me say, I justified you. Come on, God. You didn't hear me say, I glorified you. See, while we busy listening for folk to give us validation, while we busy listening for folks to give us permission to be great, you ain't even hear God already said. He told you right there in Romans 8, and I want to say now that is 8:30. He said, moreover, whom he did predestinate, them he also called. God validated you. And whom he called, them he justified. God put the gifts in you. God gave you everything you needed for you to go to work. You hear some people saying, well, I'm just going to get in where I fit in. Say what? I'm just going to get in where I fit in. I'm going to tell you this, and I'm going to tell you this right now. You may be able to imitate, but you'll never be able to duplicate someone else's vision. God has given you the gifts that you need for the purpose and the plan that he has for your life. You can try and get in where you fit in somebody else's vision. It'll never work for you. As your empowerment coach, I come to let you know that there is greatness in you, that you have everything you need for the purpose that God has predestined you for. You have everything you need. Stop that I'm going to get in where I fit in. You ain't got to get in where you fit in. God already has given you everything you need for the purpose, which is to glorify him. We don't want to grieve God. I am a certified Christian life coach. And I said that specifically because if you don't want to hear about God, you're not going to tune into this channel because that's all I know. That's all I know. I am using the gifts that God has given me to empower you. This message is not for everybody, but it is for somebody. And if it hurt, just say ouch. Just say ouch. Now, I'm just reading my notes here. Use what you got because God got a purpose for you. God has a purpose for you. God has a purpose for you. Take your focus off of what you're seeing everybody else do or what you seeing somebody else do that may look easy enough for you to do. Or you may say, because you don't know your own gifts. You don't know your own purpose. Spend some time in the presence of God and let God reveal to you your purpose. Let God reveal to you the gifts you have within you. You may say, I don't know how to do nothing, coach. I don't know what to do. You hadn't looked close enough. You hadn't looked deep enough. There are gifts that lie within you. If you check yourself out, I'm going to say this to you. Check yourself out. If you one of them folks that got to know what's going on, if you one of them folks that the first piece of information you get, you can't hold it. I got to go tell somebody. I got to tell somebody. If you one of them people that it just gravitates to you. You gravitate to information. Why don't you pick up a camera? Coach, I don't have them expensive cameras. Coach, I don't have them cameras with all that stuff on there that you need to record videos with, or that you need to go out like newscasters and get the news. Well, I'm come to tell you, you got a phone. You got a phone. That phone has a video on there. Use that. If you one of those people that have to jot everything down, that just have to write everything down, that if you don't write it, you gonna forget it. You saying that you don't know your purpose. You don't know what you're supposed to be doing. And then the idea hits you and you write it down. Guess what? Why don't you start writing that book? Why don't you start writing your book? I want somebody to know today that as soon as you give, as soon as you give your gift away, God will give to you. Coach, what is that in the Bible? God says, to whom much is given, much is required. If you seek in knowledge, seek after God. Seek God for the wisdom that you need. Somebody needs to know today, and that somebody is you, that there is purpose on your life. Use what you got to get what you want. Use what you got to get what you want. And what you want is to make God pleased with you. You don't have to spend your life trying to get in where you fit in because you don't know your purpose. Or for some reason you think, I have a talent, but I charge for it. Ain't nobody paying for it. I ain't finna give it away. You better start giving some stuff away if you want God to give some stuff. Because see, you're going to reap that which you sow. Coach, now what you talking about? You're going to reap what you sow. If you reap freely giving your talent away, you're going to sow a good harvest. And I said that backwards. If you sow, which means plant, you're going to reap. You're going to reap. You're going to get it back. You're going to get it back tenfold. I remember in the book of Job, in the 42nd chapter, everything that Job lost, children, money, property, everything, health, it all. In the 42nd chapter, guess what? Job was blessed with double for his trouble. God will bless you double for your trouble once you give him the glory. Once you give him the glory, stop spinning your wheels. Stop being distracted by what you see or what appears to be easy for someone else. It is easy for someone else because that is their gifting. If you do not know, if you are discouraged, if you are lost, with your purpose, I suggest to you to seek God. I suggest to you to sit down in your quiet time, in your quiet place, and ask God, God, what I'm good at? God, what did you put in me? And I promise you, God will reveal that thing to you. It ain't no joke. Ain't no joke. Getting up daily and going and spending 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 hours making someone else's vision come true. Going on somebody's job. That's what I'm trying to say to y'all. And then your own vision. You're too tired at the end to give your own vision at least 1 hour. I'm going to say this to you. Use what you got for the glory of God. Use what you got, the purposes that God has planned for you to help somebody. Start your own business. Use those talents that you have to start your own business. Now, when I went into business for myself, I can tell you right out the gate, I was gung-ho, hyped up, knew which direction I was going in, knew what I wanted to do, knew how it was going to happen. I saw a vision. I had plenty of visions. My imagination had been stirred up. And I can tell you the reality of that thing is, baby, it ain't as easy as it looks. We may just make it look easy to you, but it's a whole lot of midnight oil that I burn. A lot of midnight oil. But I'm doing it for the glory of God. I refuse to work on a 9 to 5. Some of us do 9 to 6. Some of us don't even got a cutoff time. Making someone else's vision come true, and I not operate in the gifts that I have, the anointing that God has given me to make my vision come true. God said that he would supply your every need. He also told you that you are the head and not the tail. God said that you the lender and not the borrower. But until you get that stuff down in your spirit, until you get that stuff down, deep down inside of you, and start operating and working and focusing and making your path, using the word as your stepping stone, you are going to be stagnated. You are going to be stuck in the rut that you in. Mad at yourself. Use what you got to get what you want. God says he's already predestined you. God had a plan for you before you were even created in your mother's womb. God knew what he was doing. God knew what he was going to do with you. That's you sitting up there waiting on validation from folk. God said, I created you for my glory. I created you for purpose. Use the gifts that you have to glorify God. There is somebody that needs the gift that you have. Stop worrying about getting paid for everything. God freely gave it to you. And what you don't realize is you're going to reap what you sow. See, get your attention, get your focus off being paid for everything. Wanting a dime for everything that you do, because you're going to reap what you sow. Y'all get what I'm saying to y'all? You're going to reap what you sow. God said he would never leave you, nor would he ever forsake you. God ain't changed. That's us done changed. That's we as people have changed. You have taken your focus off of God. You read the word, you know the word, but you won't activate the word. My God, my God. You better activate that word that is down within you, and you better get up and go to work, You better use the gifts that God has given you. They're all for his glory. It's for his purpose. It's for the plan that he had for you. Don't you be on top of this earth all these years, and then you leave here, and then you're going to meet Jesus, and Jesus is going to say, depart from me, for I knew you not, you worker of iniquity. You ain't did nothing I told you to do. You ain't did none of the stuff that I told you to do, that I validated you for, that I gave you permission for, that I shined on you because it was for my purpose, because it wasn't good enough for you. It didn't put the shine on you. You had to work in the shadows. You had to work behind the backdrop. You wanted the scene. You wanted to be one of the main characters. And while you out there being a main character, forgetting every line that you read on this piece of paper, if you had been behind the scenes, building the skits, building the backdrops, building all the sets, you would have pleased me, because you would have done what I asked you to do. You would have used the gifts that I gave you. You would have made sure with the talent that you had that none of them props and things would have fell down on those actors and actresses' heads. Use the gifts that I have given you, God says. And watch me. Watch me work, God says. I created you for purpose. I created you for me. You are my instrument. Y'all better quit worrying about what these folk talking about, what these folks say you can't do. Y'all better realize God is the creator. God is the Alpha. God is the Omega. God is the beginning. God is the end. God didn't need your permission in the beginning, and he don't need your permission now. All God says to you is, go to work. Use the gifts that I have given you and go to work. It's for my glory. It's for my glory. See, you ought to be dancing. You ought to be with your shoulders tilted back. You ought to be just cocky with it. God found something for you to do. Me, Coach, you don't know stuff I done did. You don't know the mess I've been in. You don't know what I have done. You don't know the convictions that have been bestowed upon me. I don't need to know. God already knew it. Before you were formed in your mother's belly, God said, I knew you. So it don't matter if Coach Harris know you. I ain't the one predestined you, but I'm here to give you a word. You were created for purpose. Let your weaknesses make you stronger. In other words, what I'm saying to you, what you've been through, use that for elevation. The gifts that you have, I don't care if you know how to take some cement, pour some water in it, and stir it up. And get you 2 or 3 bricks and start stacking them on top of each other. Use your gift. Somebody needs that talent that you have. While you sitting down on what is God given to you, somebody is searching for you. Somebody's searching for you. Get away from that mentality. I'm going to get in where I fit in. I like their vision. Shoot, I can do that. Use your gifts. Use what you got and create your own vision. You don't have to spend your life making someone else's vision a reality, because it's their vision. You're helping them make their vision a reality. God says, I have equipped you with enough knowledge. I've given you enough gifts. It's like I done gave this to you. You asked me for it. I've given it to you, yet you still won't use it. If you that knows a person like that, get your camera, go out there and start videoing some stuff. Put it here on YouTube. Put it on Facebook. Put it on Twitter. Put it on Instagram. Put it on every social media you know about. Get the word out. Get the news out. If you got to write everything down so you don't forget it, write that book. Write the book. Put it on Instagram. Put it on Twitter. Put it on Facebook. Put it here on YouTube. If you know how to crochet, I know how to crochet. I know how to knit. I do it for folks all the time. But it's therapy for me. It keeps me focused. It gives me an inner peace. That's what you got to do. That's what you have to do. I want you today to read Romans 8:28 through 31. Meditate on that today. Sit back, get in your quiet time, and ask God, God, what is my purpose? What do you want me to do? I hear the Spirit of the living God saying, I'm going to stir up your gifts. I'm going to set your soul on fire. Today is your day to be great. I am your empowerment coach, Queen Teresa Harris. Take this word today, apply it to your life, and get up and go to work. God needs you. This session has been brought to you by Victorious You Are Life Coach Center. Please visit my website at victoriousyouare.com. You may email me at victoriousyouare@yahoo.com. Pick up the phone and call 901-571-8863. Before I leave you, I also want to tell you I am the founder of Royally Queens. Royally Queens. We are an organization of mentors. We mentor women all around the world. We're always looking for new members. We're always looking for people that want to help, people that are encouragers. You see these acronyms? I'm trying to straighten this up a little bit. You see these acronyms? Queens. These are acronyms, and they stand for Queens United to Encourage, Elevate, and Nurture Other Sisters. Use the gifts that you got for the glory of God, for His purpose. Here at Royally Queens, we need you. We need mentors from every walk of life. There are so many women, and we specifically target women. Men, I ain't got nothing against y'all, but this for the girls right now. We specifically target women all over the world. The mentors in Royally Queens have a gift that you need. Go to my website. Make sure you email me, text me, call me. Set up a clarity call. Set up a clarity call with me, and let's together discover your giftings. Okay? Until the next time. Queens up. Be blessed.